Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at some typical yard and garden pests that everybody gets. So, being the good neighbor that I am, I've got plenty of them for you. Let's start with pears, will we? So pears and apples, those are called palm fruits. They get a European, an Asian fruit borer. Here's my beautiful specimen for the day. So what you look for is these ends that have been chewed into. Sometimes, oh, come on, move leaf. It's on the side, right there. So it looks like there's kind of like a sawdust that's coming out of it where it's been chewed. Here's a perfect example right there. All right, let's see if I can get you in on that. Sorry guys, I only have an iPhone. So that right there is an entrance hole. Now, if I pick this, let me find one that's more developed. Here's one that's a lot better. Completely hollow. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this one. And we're gonna cut it in half using, I don't have a knife, incisors. Okay, now inside this guy, it's very astringent. You see that? Those are the larvae. It's rotten. The larva's on the top. If you can see that. At the very end, not the white stuff. The white stuff is like a fungus that from its fecal matter. But the little dude's right there on the top. Crawling away to his heart's content. He's dead now. That's what the other side looks like. Rotten through the core. So, I'm not real sure about the Asian fruit borer. I'll probably, out of this entire tree, I'll probably get 4 good pears this year. Because they'll ruin all the others. I won't even bother to harvest. I'll use a root drench on it. I'll use a fruit tree root drench from Monterey. And then I'll use the Monterey non-fruit tree drench that's good for a year, and I won't touch it until next year. Asian fruit tree borers, they're rough on palms. So over here is my nectarine. And look at this. Dead. Deader than 4 o'clock. I think I have 1 or I have 2 nectarines, and this one has been gotten by something, probably an Asian fruit tree borer, which for some reason they only come after this and not the peaches. There's a third. See, something's always trying to get these every year. I used to think it was sunburn, but I think it's not. I think I'm just biased because Sunburn is my Indian name. At least that's what the kids called me at camp. So nothing on this, and the reason that this is dead and that there's nothing on this tree. See, here's another whole dead limb. So this, as you come down and see the bark here, has peach tree borers. And the problem with peach tree borers is that these are the exits. That's sap. Here's the holes all up through this bark. So peach tree borers get into the fruit, they lay their eggs in the fruit. They fall on the ground. I found what I was looking for. They fall on the ground with the peach or the plum or the nectarine or whatever you got, and they eat until there's nothing left to eat, and they're a big fat grub, and then they crawl in the soil to the base of the tree, and right in there is where they enter. And then they spend the winter in the cambium layer of this tree eating all the good green stuff. And then in the spring and summer, they bore out. So these that you're seeing are the exit wounds, and by that point it's already too late. They've already eaten everything that they're gonna eat in there. So, sometimes the tree can recover, sometimes they can fight them back. This for me has been a 3 or 4 year, because it's not just peach tree borers now that are doing this. We also have those June bugs. We have the green Asian June bugs, we have the brown June bugs, and we have that, is it 9-line or 10-line? 9-stripe, 10-stripe beetle. That little mean looking booger with the big antennas. Well, that's what does that. And so I got all three in the same year. I've always had a small peach tree borer issue, but I got a huge hammering with the June bugs about 3 years ago, and it's been 3 years of hell keeping them at bay since. Here's the damage on my plum. Same thing. This one was years ago, and the tree's in recovery and doing quite well, but it looked just like that tree 3 years ago. Same size and everything. So as you can see now, my plum's plenty large. I don't even enjoy pruning that one. So here's my old other peach, and this one was about 2 years ago that it suffered through that, and it's in recovery for the most part right now. There's a lot of ways to deal with it, root drench being one of the best. Fruit tree root drench if you're going to eat the fruit. And then painting it, I recommend that, what is that, Ivy Organics. It's medicated, it's not just paint or lime, and it prevents them from boring in and kills them coming out. The problem is when they come out, you know, they do that cocoon thing and metamorphosis, whatever, turn into one of those beetles. Their whole purpose is a beetle. Most of them can't even eat when they're a beetle. They eat when they're a larva. And so the beetle mates. That's usually the typical thing for these things to do. Nothing else. They don't even have, some of them don't even have mouth parts. So they mate, and then they lay eggs in those fruit. And that's what bores, that's what that little larva was that we saw in the pear. That's the baby that hatched out of that egg. And she can lay eggs in every one of those peaches and have a larva or two in every one of those, or pears. Fruit borers are a little different than like your peach tree borers. Fruit tree borers, I believe, don't go after the bark so much, they just go after the fruit. The other borers and the June bugs all go after the bark. So they'll get in there, and that's how you get that little larva, I don't know, pupa. Larva hits the ground, pupa goes into the tree and comes out and then turns into the beetle. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just making shit up, but that's the gist of it. And so I have both examples here for you of those wonderful things, and I just posted one in my shorts of hunting tomato hornworms. So I did not do a root drench on a couple of my big sunflowers, especially the large one. So real soon here, I'm expecting an aphid infestation on this guy. So this is my sunflower stock. It's going to be huge, and we will, if you can already see the ants, I don't know if you see them or not, but the ants are there, and those ants are going to bring, see these guys? These ants are going to bring the larvae of those aphids, and this will have a full aphid infestation if I don't get some of that Monterey fruit tree root drench, systemic root drench. So I'll show you the aphid. I'm going to treat that one. I'll pick one of the smaller ones and I won't treat, and I'll give you guys that example coming up. So hit the like, subscribe if you want to. This is just for me and my mom. Everybody else who watches is gravy. I love you all. Have fun gardening. We garden so we don't hurt people. All right? This is how we stay calm, everybody. Love you. Bye.